We should have that time that we do nothing. Like, we're coming up on the weekend and I'm shutting it down and I will not look at I'll see that I have email and I may glance at my email, but I know I'm not dealing with it until that weekend is over.
Welcome back to the RV Queens podcast, where we are all about women making money on the road. I'm your host, Kate White, and today's episode is for anyone who dreams of RV life, but isn't ready to travel full time. I'm joined by Michelle Coleman, who is an educator, traveler, and co-founder of Cruisin with the Colemans. Michelle and her husband are what she calls anytimers, which means they hit the road anytime they can, which for them means weekends, holidays, and summers off. They've built a brand and a lifestyle around this flexibility. In this episode, we talk about how Michelle manages a full-time job and a travel brand. We talk about the mindset shift that took her from thinking she'll travel someday to why not now? We talk about what it's like designing a new RV model with Coachmen, and we talk about how she's turning her travel passion into a group travel experience that transforms lives. If you've ever felt like you can't make the travel lifestyle work until you retire, Michelle is living proof that you can start right now with whatever time you have. So get ready to be inspired, grab your coffee, and let's roll. Michelle Coleman, welcome to the RV Queens podcast. Where in the world are you this week?
We are in chilly Dayton, Ohio. At our home base. So No RV looks like this, I don't think.
Right. Unless it's like one of those called park models that are the stationary ones. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm excited.
Designed it,
Yeah, that's right. You have a Google Meet background on permanently. My RV is like a 3,000 square foot space. So I'm excited to chat with you today, especially because, well, first of all, you're a really inspiring person, especially for listeners who want to live the RV lifestyle, but they're still working a job that isn't really able to be remote. And then also you're unique among RV queens because you are a self-proclaimed anytimer. So on this topic, like you just mentioned, you're at your home right now. Describe for us how your lifestyle works and how much time you and your husband spend RVing.
Yeah, anytime we're not working, or as we say as teachers, anytime school's not in session, we are on the road somewhere. And so I feel like when people say weekend warriors, they're really limiting their focus. And I feel like it's more than just a weekend. Everybody has, there's holidays with every job. So there's a holiday or vacation time or whatever. So anytime school is not in session, we are on the road. Well, we've been traveling for 18 years. And we were backpacking across Spain one year, 2017. And I said, I want to do this more. Like, I really like being outside and being gone as long as we were gone. I said, how can we do this? Because a tent is kind of limiting for some people. I'm a cool weather, warm weather tent camper. The conditions have to be just right. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. And so we both kind of said, well, what about an RV? And so while backpacking, we kind of made our pros and cons list of everything that we would want in an RV. And I literally found exactly what we wanted online. And when we got off the plane, after being gone for 2 months, wearing the same 2 outfits for 2 months, we went to an RV store that will remain nameless. And the person wouldn't give me the time of day because it was the first time we were looking in person. And do you remember the movie Pretty Woman when she goes to buy clothes and says, "Do you work on commission, right?" Big mistake. Like that's how I wanted. That's where I was. I was like, big mistake, man. Big mistake. That's how it started. And it's been 8 years with our rig. And I love it so much because it's just added so much value to our travel experience.
You know what is super crazy? Me and my husband just watched Pretty Woman last night.
Big mistake.
I don't know the last time I talked about that movie. And then, of course, you bring it up in conversation today. We just watched it. Okay, that is bizarre. I just had to say.
And it was a classic.
One of those moments. One of those little winks. It is a classic. And
Yeah.
I don't think I had watched it as an adult. I think I saw it like, 20 years ago or something. So still holds up for the record. Yeah. If anyone's looking for a good 90s flick, there you go. Got your movie night.
Julia Roberts, you can't go wrong. I just watched Eat, Pray, Love today. Actually. Today, I watched it.
Well, and we were talking about, Richard Gere and Pretty Woman. And then, so while we're watching that last night, we were like, well, we need to watch Runaway Bride again, obviously. See if that holds up. Okay. I think we just started a Julia Roberts marathon for ourselves and listeners, hopefully.
Well, I mean, I feel like we could have a whole RV Queens night of Julia Roberts, like come in your best Julia Roberts outfit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love this so much. Okay. So many good ideas going on here. So I always think that, I have a lot going on until I meet someone like you, because you work full time as an educator, which we all know that means you work more than 40 hours a week, right? So does your husband, and you love to travel, and you guys started. So in addition to working full time, traveling as much as you can, you guys started a social media brand and a YouTube travel vlog to document all of your journeys, and you lead group travel experiences around the world. Like, you are freaking awesome. How did you get into specifically like leading the group travel? Tell me about that.
Well, I didn't really think about Cruisin with the Colemans in the literal sense when we first started the brand, but my husband did. And he's a sneaky little thing. He's a Scorpio. He has something always going on in the back of his mind that he's thinking about that he could sneak in somewhere. And he's like, well, of course it's been in our brand the whole time. Like, I was like, oh, Cruisin with the Colemans. I'm slow to catch on, I feel like sometimes. We have led student experiences for his entire career, and I've been a part of that journey for the last 18 years. So we've taken students to London and New York and, throughout Ohio, but I didn't want to do that anymore. I do not want to be responsible for minors at all again in my lifetime, except my granddaughter. I'm fine with that. But other than that, no. And so, I was kind of thinking maybe after we retire, we might start leading some groups, and an opportunity came up. Some friends of ours said, why aren't you doing it now? And I said the phrase, we're waiting until we retire. She looked at me and said, really? And as the words came out and as she gave me that weird look, I thought, crap, we don't wait until we retire to do anything. What are we doing? And so that conversation happened. And by the end of the weekend, we had a business plan together, and we made the announcement, and we had the first group filled within a month to the day we announced, which was insane. And we have 2 trips planned for next year already. And we'll do even more once we do retire.
I love it when something just clicks and then it works right away. The fact that it was like filled, within a month, boom. Seems like it's a good fit. Let's go with that. You probably get this question a lot as a human with 25 things going on. Seriously though, like, how do you fit all of this into your schedule? Like, are you just a really organized person, or what are your days and weeks look like? What kind of strategies do you have in place to keep it all together?
I love a good list, very much so. I have to-do lists for all different categories of things that we're working on. I do not procrastinate unless I intentionally am procrastinating. Have you ever just put something off because you're like, I can put that off? I'm really good at that. But I'm the type of person that the more busy I am, the more productive I am. If I don't have anything on my plate today, for example, I had nothing on my plate today, I watch Eat, Pray, Love, because why not? I can. And so, but when I'm very busy, my strategies come into play where I know how to keep the ball rolling. If I don't, I get very stressed. And as you get older, stress is our number one killer. So I work really hard at keeping that balanced. I also schedule in me time, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's, a massage. It's a day to just do nothing. And that is important. You got to figure out what strategies are going to work, and lists are first and foremost.
Are you a physical list type person?
I used to be. And then my husband, he's a Mac user, he introduced me to Reminds and Notes. And I have a Google Doc now going all the time that has my weekly grading. So it's just a list of everything I have to grade. And I keep that that tab open all the time. So I go, okay, before I can work on what I call my 5 to 9 job. So I have a 9 to 5, and then I have a 5 to 9 job. Before I can work on the 5 to 9, what do I have to work on for the 9 to 5 job? And I do that at the beginning of every semester. I look at all the assignments that I've, given to the students, and I write down what has to be graded every week. So I can look at where I have a slower work week and where I have a busier week. And that helps. If I were in a business of projects, I would put down on that list, like, what things have to be done in order to make that project complete. And then I have lists for Cruisin with the Colemans and what we need to get done. And that's a shared list with my husband so that he can ignore it properly. And I can go, hey, you should look at that,
Okay. So it sounds like you have 2 modes: very organized, lots of action taking every day, or shut down, veg out, let's chill.
And we all should. We should have that time that we do nothing. Like, we're coming up on the weekend, and I'm shutting it down, and I will not look at I'll see that I have email, and I may glance at my email, but I know I'm not dealing with it until, that weekend is over. That's important. We have to have times that we shut down. And on my phone, I turned off most all push notifications. So if there's any social media notifications, I only see them if I intentionally open my phone and open the app, because I didn't want to be notified every minute of every day. So every single one of my apps are only the little badge that's on there. That's the only thing, so that I know that something's there, but I have to be intentional about opening it. And that's part of keeping a good balance. We should have that, unless it doesn't drive you crazy, but it drives me crazy. My phone lights up. I'm like, ooh, what's on the phone? And I had to turn that all off. And then having time where you're just doing nothing. And that's important.
This is fascinating, because you are the first person that I've talked to, I think, ever, that has done that with the notifications, because I did that probably 4 years ago. I turned off, the only notifications I get is like text and phone calls. If I open my phone and see like a little red dot, like, I can't, it makes me crazy, because it's always there, and it makes me feel like I always have something going on, especially with Marco Polos and like the RV Queen circles. Ooh, girl, I had to turn those off, because my brain, I could just tell I was like constantly like distracted by this. So I do the same thing. I don't have any notifications. And whenever I go in, it's with an intent to be like, okay, I have 20 minutes right now. I'm going to do Marco Polos, or like, I have time right now to do social media, like whatever it is. It just helps me separate the brain spaces. So it's not all important. Bleeding.
Yeah, it's important. And the little badge doesn't bother me, because I'm opening my phone with that intention, because I may ask, who to, text somebody. So I don't even open my phone, right? Or if someone calls, I'm opening my phone with the time. I have that time, manage any posts that we're going to do first thing in the morning. So that's done. And sometimes, like, if Brian is working on a YouTube video in the evening, which is often when he's working on YouTube videos, I may start working on 3 or 4 posts so that I get those done. Because I really had to manage that time suck as well. And accept that I don't have to do it every minute of every day or every day. And especially in the winter, when I'm at like how the body goes in cycles. And in the winter, I'm in my calm reset cycle. I don't post every day. If we're not traveling, if we're not doing anything exciting, I don't post every day. And I've had to make that be okay.
So it sounds like you and your husband have kind of formed these cadences in your even day-to-day life. Like, while he's working on the long form video for YouTube, you're working on the shorter form social media. And that's nice that you guys kind of have that a partnership? Like you're still working towards the same goals together, but separate tasks, and you figured out how to make it work.
He does not deal with anything on Instagram or Facebook at all. And I don't deal with anything in long format of YouTube. If I create a reel that I think would be really good as a short, I'll upload it and say, okay, it's your problem now, meaning you need to decide when it should be scheduled and put the description in there. Make sure that it fits into whatever story you're telling. That disbursement of work has helped. And then I manage in YouTube all of the comments because I want that voice to be consistent. No matter what platform you're talking to us on, the reply voice is consistent all the time. And so I always manage that. Unless it's like Brian makes some RV how-to and somebody asks a question and I'm like, hey, Brian, you got to answer that. It's too technical for me. I don't know what the heck they're asking, which has happened more often than not. So yeah, that you have to delineate those duties in order to keep sanity and also not like step on each other's toes. We could really step on each other's toes if we tried to do each other's job.
Let's shift back to the RV life topic and kind of like segue into what it's like for you to work with brands with the content that you guys are creating. Tell us about your brand ambassadorship and then also this new project that you have with Coachmen. And specifically, I'd love the general information about it, but also for listeners to know, how did that come in to place? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? And how can, listeners shape up those deals for themselves?
We had gone on the Coachmen website several years to fill out like the brand ambassador form, and nobody was replying. Nobody was saying anything. And I was like, I know we're small, but I mean, you don't have anybody. So like, we're small, but we're mighty. And then I thought, well, maybe because our channel isn't all about RV life, it's about travel. And we, do all this backpacking. So maybe that's why they don't like us. So I thought, well, maybe I can make a good in-person impression. I'm pretty good in person. So I reached out to them and said, we would really like to do a tour of the factory. And we genuinely did. We thought that'd make a great video. And we've seen that other people have made tours. And so we went and I reached out to the general manager for Apex, which is our brand. We got there and we had set it up. And I said, now, just so you know, if anybody would like to come and see our rig, you're welcome to. We have completely redesigned the rig on the inside. And they said, oh, yeah. And I said, okay. So they all came. A lot of the higher ups, the general manager, the product designer, the person in charge of marketing all came over to our rig. And literally, it was one of those moments where it was like, oh, I like you. You like me. Let's be friends. They knew who Cruisin with the Colemans were. Like, they knew who we were. And they were really excited to see everything that we had done. And they were entering into an area of like, we're interested in restarting brand ambassadors, but we want somebody who just is a real RVer. That's really their highlight. They just are real people using the RV. And I said, well, that's us. I mean, we're not in it full time. We have a lot of other things we like to do. We like to fly places. We love to travel to Europe. So we are in the rig as much as we are. And then times we're not. The relationship just kind of happened naturally. It was a formal, signing of the documents, which took, I think, about 6 months to get through all of that. Apex is, Coachmen has Apex, and above Coachmen is Forest River. So there were a lot of layers. And Forest River had gone through a little phase of not having any brand ambassadors, and they're exploring that again as well. So after that, it was really about, come and take some RV tour videos, which we were like, oh, that sounds fantastic. I mean, everybody loves a good RV tour. Come in and have conversations with us, keep working in the Facebook groups, which we are members of several Coachmen Apex Facebook groups. And then they introduced a new line called the Coachmen Remote, which is kind of under Apex as well. And so they said, you can highlight that and tell everybody about that. Come to some RV shows. And they're really great about saying, when you can. So we're teachers. We can't take that much time off. You get a spring break, you get a Christmas break, you get a beautiful summer break, but you get 3 personal days in a year, and that's it. So you got to be really careful about when you travel. But they've been great about that. And then Brian and I were backpacking last year. It was 2023. We were backpacking again through Spain. And I said, Brian, I think I want us to like create a whole new RV concept on a travel trailer base. When we're backpacking, we're walking like 13 miles a day, every day. And so what else do you have to talk about when all of your experiences are shared experiences, except kind of brainstorming new ways to travel, new places to go, and well, a new RV design. So we got back from Europe after being there for 2 months, and Brian had drawn the whole thing out on his iPad because he takes the iPad for creating videos. I went to like a bazaar store and bought graph paper, like lined graph papers. I didn't bring any of this with me, and a compass, and I was like trying to protractor, whatever, math things, and like trying to create this concept. And we pitched it to them, and they liked it, which was another one of those, oh, you like us, we like you moments. And now we've been working on for about just about a year, about 9-10 months on the design. And we're hoping we go see him again in a few weeks. So we'll be revealing more about the process. But we're hoping maybe by December to be in our new rig and be able to unveil it at the RV shows this upcoming season, like at Hershey and Tampa. But they are loving it. They're really, and they're taking it even bigger than what we thought. They had a couple other ideas. And I was like, well, I like that fancy thing in there, and so it's been really fun.
Everyone knows that Colorado is one of the most beautiful places to camp in the U.S., right? Okay, if you're heading there this year, you've got to check out the Four Corners area near Mesa Verde and stay at the Cortez RV Resort by Our Journey. You'll enjoy mountain views, a heated pool, and even a 3-acre dog park. What? Click the link in the show notes to book now and start your journey with Our Journey. Talk to me about like the collaboration behind the scenes with your sketches, and then I'm assuming you have like design team meetings with, they have engineers and something to the effect of an interior designer, plus like probably like a marketing sales guy that knows what features need to be in order to sell. Am I assuming correctly? Like, what does that look like behind the scenes?
When we had the idea in our head of, okay, we want to present this to you, but we said, we want these people in the room. Like, we actually told them who we wanted in the room because we didn't want them to say, oh, well, we would love to do that, but I'm sure the engineer would say that's a problem. So we're like, I would like the engineer in here, the product manager, the sales manager, the general manager, the guy who's the manager on the line who can tell us some practical ideas. And so we put all of those people in the room, and we literally sat in an RV and put Brian's computer up on the TV in the RV and pitched it to them. And then since that day, there's been a lot of, emails, or, we've gone up to Coachmen, I think 3 more times, and where they've said, that's not going to work. What do you think about this? And then in Elkhart, Indiana, which is where, most all RVs are made, there's a design studio. And in that design studio, it's where, most all rigs get their decor, from lighting to flooring to wallpaper to all the accents, from this one design studio. So Brian and I just decided, let's go over there. And we got the blessing of Coachmen Apex. And they said, yeah, reach out to this person who actually, before she worked at the design studio, she worked for Coachmen Apex, and we knew her already. So it was great because she knew our brand really well. And so she helped us to like steer away from a few designs that weren't going to work, for that brand, and helped us. Because imagine, you think about a house design, imagine all the choices, and all of those choices have to work together in a little tiny box. That's a lot of pressure, from just the wallpaper and floor. You can take chances in a house that you can't take in an RV, and it has to be pleasing to more than just you. I mean, we're creating something that they have to sell. So they have to say, they've said a couple of times, like, Michelle, nobody's going to buy that. I would like to push back and argue. When you're in a room full of men, sometimes it's hard to be the person who says, I promise you a woman would buy this. So,
that's fascinating. Good for you being the voice of the women.
You have to.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
so
think
you
about
have
the things that women want. I want a place to shave my legs in the shower. Do you know how many times I had to say that before someone went, really? You shave your legs? And I'm like, yes, in the shower. I do. But you got to have a place to put your foot. I'm a woman of a certain age. I don't bend in small spaces. I'm a certain size and a certain age. I don't bend and snap the way some younger women do.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Good for you. Okay. If you haven't had like a little sync up with Charlie Grace about this topic specifically, you should do that at some point. You know who Charlie Grace is, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've had her on the show maybe 2 or 3 times, and this topic always comes up. Like, why isn't the woman's voice included when you're figuring out the layout and the design details? So, love that topic. Yeah. So, you have a secret superpower, which is, you are an educator in interpersonal communication and public speaking. And I am sure that this has been such an asset to you as you're, going through this brand partnership, and also in how you create content and think about, your long form videos. You're already thinking about it with regard to your brand voice and how you respond to comments. Tell me about how you're taking that professional expertise into all of the new brands that you're developing, and even like your group travel too. I'm sure it shows up there.
Well, for the public speaking, Brian teaches music. So he teaches people how to use their voice in a different way. So he teaches choir, right? So, and the two of us have presented in front of large audiences forever in our professional careers. And so we knew that we wanted to evolve our brand into giving presentations. It was a matter of figuring out the right place and the right topics. And that's taken us several years to figure out. But we're finally there where we're comfortable with our brand. We're comfortable with what we're doing. And so this year in 2025, we're giving about 40 presentations this year alone.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's, again, that 5 to 9 weekend job. And that has been wonderful. We give presentations at REI about hiking the Camino. And we're doing a lot of presentations at libraries, RV shows. So, and that's what's great about how we, our topics. We have a variety of topics, so we can come back again and again to talk about those different topics. And so from a public speaking standpoint, my main area of expertise, I'm a public speaking coach. I help people hone their voice and find what is best for them professionally. That's one area where Brian and I have been able to help that merge into Cruisin with the Colemans. But then also the interpersonal side, I thinking about what you would connect with, what you want to hear, as we're thinking about those long format videos. That's definitely an area that I'm strong in. But also when it comes to leading our group travel, when we're taking them on these hikes, it's called the Camino. We're walking the Camino de Santiago. And the Camino, it's not just a hike. Like, it's not like backpacking the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail or whatever, but it's actually a pilgrimage where you're walking for religious or spiritual purposes, where there's something you're really walking with an intention of, I'm trying to shed this piece of my life. I'm trying to find this piece of myself. I'm trying to let go of this trauma. I'm trying to change this area of myself, whatever it may be. And in the group travel experience, we are helping people to find what that is. And that means every day setting intentions, and every day having someone there to help you through the process of what that may be. And that's where my strength really lies, is being able to have those one-on-one conversations with people that say, okay, let's talk about how we can work through this. And when you're walking that much every day, you got a lot of time to think. So you have two choices. You can think about all your aches and pains, because there will be plenty, or you can think about something else that you really want to work on and keep your mind there. And if you can do that, imagine the power you have when you get back home and you're distracted by life, right? You can go, no, this is my intention today. This is what I'm working on. And you can do that when the noise is out there. So the noise can be physical, mental, or emotional. And the Camino really helps people. And being a guide is a way to help someone through that process.
That is beautiful. And I bet the people that go with you and these group trips just come back completely changed because of the intentionality that you're building into the experience. That is so meaningful and it's so cool.
We just did because we all have a group chat. So on the group chat yesterday, it was, what's one word of something you want to let go of on this trip? And I'm challenging everyone to summarize whatever it is they want to let go of in one word. And it's been powerful to read the vulnerability that it takes, right? Just to say that, but to hear what the word is, it's very meaningful. And we'll use those words as we are having conversations on the trip. So I am excited to see where it goes.
You see the spark come back, see the light come back. So I would love to pick your brain about RV Queens specifically. You've been a member of the RV Queen circles. Thank you, by the way. I loved being in a group with you just last month. That was super fun.
I love Marco Polo groups. This has changed so much about just the me time. I talk about I have time for myself, sure. And, I'll watch a movie, sure. But I don't get to talk to other RV women because I'm not a full timer. So I've always had that imposter syndrome, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not a full timer. Is that okay? And in the circles, the Marco Polo circles and the RV Queen circles, I've always felt very accepted and very loved. And I love the intentionality that you add to the circle of every week having this topic, because it's a springboard, right? So many of the groups we get into so much more than the topic, which is great, but you have to have a place to start. And so you're doing exactly what, I'm doing in a different form from our groups, having that, here's your focus for the week if you choose to accept it.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I love that you took it in that direction. I was actually going to ask your experience interacting with the RV women. Like we're all, starting, building, growing brands or businesses. And from your perspective as what I'm going to call a master communicator, like what advice and kind of lived experience even do you have to share with us that want to follow in your footsteps about how to create meaningful experience for our brand customers? And have you made any notes, kind of mentally over the past few months of, oh, I wish I could share this with them as they're thinking about their brand offering?
I think the biggest thing is never be anybody you're not authentically, right? So you have to be 100% authentically yourself with whatever that looks like. The bumps, the bruises, the awkwardness, you have to be authentically yourself. That is number one. Number two, I would never mold our brand into what someone else wants. It was my biggest fear with Coachmen is that all of a sudden we feel like we have to RV all the time because, Coachmen wants us to be showcasing our RV all the time. I'm not going to be that person. I'm never going to be the person who molds our travels because a brand says we want this. And then believe in your brand enough to say no. I don't need all the free crap in the world. I don't care that I have a house. I believe in a minimalistic lifestyle. And if it's not adding value to our life, I don't want it. You're more than just free, right? Free stuff is one thing, but I'm creating a campaign that will be something that you will get money out of it, whatever that business is, because of this reel I create or this short format or long format video or post these pictures or feature this brand in my reels. You're going to make money. And so why shouldn't I make money? So it should not be about just free. And I think too many people don't have faith. And I didn't at the beginning either. I got just free stuff. But they need to be able to say, I'm worth more than that. So I'm always about, what's your affiliate link? Like, am I going to get an affiliate link? So if I do sell something, I get a percentage back. That's first and foremost. And then don't ever give them final say over your video, your reel, or anything. That's your content. And you need to be completely honest and authentic with the viewers, so they know, this is my honest opinion about this product. And if the brand knows you, as they should, if they're going to give you free stuff, they should know, they should have faith in you. We've said no. I really wanted a 12-volt air conditioner because we have solar and lithium. And I had to say no because they wanted too much.
Thank you for that speech. I think it was just a good reminder for all of us. Okay, Michelle, you are so inspiring. Just thank you again for being on today. So go ahead and share with everyone where they can connect with you online and sign up for your group travel and all the things. And then I will ask you my final questions.
So Cruisin, there's no G, Cruisin with the Colemans on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, occasionally. Then let's see, YouTube, obviously, Cruisin with the Colemans. And if you go to cruisinwiththecolemans.com, there's a tab at the top that says group travel. And we're actually pre-registering for 2026 already. We're doing a trip in Italy, kind of Florence to Rome area, where we're going to spend some time in Florence and in Rome, which pizza and pasta, baby, the best wine in the world. And then we're also
the art. But yeah.
Oh, pizza and wine too. Oh, the art's really cool. I'm sorry. I plan on eat, pray, loving my way through Italy once again.
Love it.
We leave in 2 weeks for Italy. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then we're also leading a group in Spain again. But pre-registration is just $50, fully refundable. It's just helping us figure out how many people are interested in what trips. So we are at about 40% capacity on both trips already. And that way, before we even announce it to the public, if people are interested, they'll be the first ones to sign up. Cruisinwiththecolemans.com. That's us.
Okay, so this season, I've been ending my interviews with a round of one-on-one questions where I ask a question and then we each answer it. So today, I have to ask you travel questions because you've been so many places. The first question is, what is the most surprising place that you visited?
I would say the Netherlands. There were a lot of people that said, don't go to the Netherlands. What's there? And I loved it. It was flat, first of all, which I'm a Midwesterner, so flat is good. Flat is easy walking. But the bikes and the outdoor space and the flowers, the Netherlands really impressed me. If I'm speaking of abroad, if I'm speaking within the U.S., my answer would be Mesa Verde National Park. That national park really surprised me, and I loved it more than I thought I would.
Okay, and that's Southwest Colorado-ish?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever Brian says something like that, I'm like, there's some text right there and I make him put it in there. So,
but
Mesa
Verde National Park. Okay, I haven't hit that one yet. I'm going to have to look that. My answer to this question is actually, it's a little less positive than yours. So the most surprising place to me so far has been Eastern Washington, because it's a desert. Like, what? When we went to the Pacific Northwest last year, I had the idea of like everything in Washington and Oregon is going to be, luscious and green and like Olympic National Park. I thought that was the entire state, but there's definitely like a hot deserty side to Washington. Didn't know existed, and we booked 3 weeks there in the middle of summer, so it was definitely an eye opener. If in case anyone else is in my shoes and doesn't know anything about it, there's that little tidbit.
In the future, before you go, you should try watching some YouTube videos.
I should. Research is not necessarily my strong suit, and I'm aware of that. Maybe need to lean into that a little more. Okay, so my last question for you is, what is a place that has captured your heart that you would return to over and over and over?
Portugal. Lisbon, Portugal. I would move there tomorrow if I didn't have a granddaughter. A lot of expats go there. So there are a lot of Americans, a lot of English speaking. It's beautiful. It has history. It has culture. It has art. It has character. Mm-hmm. So that would be abroad. In the United States, where would I go? Ooh, I don't know. In the US, I love so many places, and it's seasonal, right? Like we have a great campground that we go to for our winter break, but I wouldn't want to be there during hurricane season. And that's the best part about RV life is you can go anywhere. So my heart is where my granddaughter is because she's 4.
Oh, I love that.
She likes me. I like her. It's a whole thing.
Good. It works out. That worked out, didn't it? Yeah. So my answer to this question is way more lame than your answer. I have been to Europe, but it's been 20 years ago now. Oh my gosh. What the heck?
Hey, we have group travel. You should join us.
I know, right? My wheels are spinning when you're talking about these trips. So I have several places in the US that like have just captured my heart. But one place, especially for our young family, that's come to be really meaningful is this tiny little town in Indiana. It's called Santa Claus, Indiana. There's not a lot there. Yeah. Have you been to Lake Rudolph?
I know it. Yeah. Yeah. I went when I was little.
Oh my gosh. It's a sun outdoors campground, huge trees, like amazing campground. And then right next door is, of course, Holiday World, which is an amusement park, which is, so there's always something fun to do over there. But we just love that little town. It's kind of a quirky little town and it's a great camping spot and so beautiful.
I love finding those good quirky towns. I mean, I think those are towns with character are really what, like classic America is built on, and there's a reason for it.
And I love it when you find a small town that's still, got some juice there. It's like has something going on because, the opposite happens too, and that's sad. Oh man. Okay, Michelle. Well, that is a wrap. Thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for just being full you and bringing all your wisdom to us. I feel like every time I talk with you, I learn something new and just like go a little deeper. So I appreciate it. And I've really enjoyed our conversation.
You're welcome. And thank you for having RV Queens. It's been it's made a huge impact in my life this year. It has. And I really appreciate that. I absolutely love the women that I've met. I love the energy that you bring. And meeting those women have given me inspiration to go and meet up with new people, and I'm so excited about that. Women need connection. We need community, and you brought that for us. So thank you. You're welcome. It's absolutely my pleasure. I love it. It's such a good group, such a good people up in here. So thank you, and you're welcome. Alrighty, Michelle. I will see you on the road. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and for being part of the RV Queens community. Remember to hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And guess what? You can have conversations like I had on this episode with your fellow RV women who are living intentionally and making money on the road. Head to rvqueenspodcast.com/community to join RV Queen Circles today. It's a totally unique online space with a shared prosperity model that's all about community over competition. I'd love to have you be a part. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, or hopefully I will see you on the road. You are freaking awesome.